All right, Konstantinos, welcome to Decoding Social Life. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah,
It's great to have you here and look forward to hearing what you have to say about productions and where you came from, how you started doing all this. So please feel free to take the stage and say whatever you feel like and kind of explain a little bit about yourself and where you come from, how you started into this production business. And yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, thanks first of all for having me here. It's nice being here. So what we do, right? I've created pretty much a company called Kovanis Group. The reason for that is because we do different things. The way it started was almost 30 years ago. We actually bought out a company, one of the largest companies in Europe and Greece, that dealt with satellite systems. It was at that time called Satlux. It was the biggest company that had to do with electronics, cameras, studio gear, everything. So we got in that field, and for a few years, we were just importing equipment from the US to Europe, and we were distributing that equipment there. So we got involved also with TV radio stations from the technical aspect of it. So we helped set up studios, we helped, audio studios, video studios, everything. Bringing it a little bit fast forward, a few years actually later, we were asked to build a TV and a radio station, satellite TV and a radio station. One of the first ones in Greece called Satlux TV and Satlux Radio. So that's why we got involved a little bit with production too, because now suddenly we start doing production for our own company, right?
So is the production only for films and movies, or do you also dabble in music industry as well?
We have some music that's actually it's part of the production, right?
Okay.
So it's not very different. But we also do music videos also. It's something that we actually branded out now separately from our production. So we branded as Kovanis Music, so we do only like music production there.
So you have a music one, and the other one is just
The feature films, pretty
feature
much.
film.
Yeah,
Nice,
and
that's
video,
great. So you expanded it out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
When was the
yeah.
music expansion added? How long ago?
Well, that was actually half a year ago.
Half a year?
Is when we actually broke it up and we said, okay, we're going to do specific
Gotcha.
just for music.
And how's that been going? Has it been good?
There's a lot of people wanting to do productions. To tell you the truth, it's not that easy because most of the musicians are not able to afford a big production.
Yeah.
But we're working with some very much talent now that we're trying to get some videos out as promos, and then take it from there and try to find sponsors for them or
I see.
Very cool.
support.
So the budget you're saying is different for the music. And
Yeah, that's why we broke it down. We have
Okay.
to lower the budget. We can't have a budget like a feature film.
Okay.
Because most of our clients right now are musicians are starting now,
Okay.
and they're in a low budget.
Got
But we're trying to create something nice for them.
So does your company provide the funding, or do you get funding from somewhere
we
else?
usually get funding from somewhere else. yeah.
Okay.
We help them find people that can fund their projects. We don't actually do the funding directly unless it's a project that we actually build or do
So
ourselves.
what's the process like from getting a funding for a project?
Okay, so yeah, that's the most important part, and that's where everybody struggles, right? Getting the money. It all depends. It all depends on what it is. If it's a feature film, if it's like a music video, anything like that. When it comes to feature films, it's a little bit more complicated. You have to have a budget, the script, the deck. So you gather all that information. You try to find the talent. If you can find like a talent that's known, like an A-lister or something like that. And then when you gather all that information, then you approach with a package, as we call it, that we prepare everything.
The estimated package.
Yeah, then you approach people that are willing to fund that production. And again, that is sometimes a little bit different in cases of the film. So if it's a film that's specific to like historical fact or a country, you might find people that are willing to fund that movie for personal reasons instead of just as a business. Because then it has to do with also the distribution of it, right?
So where do you go to find investors?
Yeah, where do you go to find
Where do you
investors?
go?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you have to research the market, talk to people. It's not that easy.
Reach out.
Yeah, it's not that easy. It's not
Yeah.
like you open the yellow book and then
Yeah.
you just find numbers.
Yeah.
No, because most of the investors are not really businesses that invest, but they're people that have money that wouldn't
Okay.
that if they see that your project can bring them some kind of value or money, then they will invest.
So it's not like a venture capital that you go to.
You can. There's some
Okay.
venture capitals. There's some family offices. There's different venues that you can approach. You just have to find people that are willing to invest on movies because it's a hard thing to invest. It's not like real estate where you purchase a building or you purchase a office space. There you have the asset of that purchase. With film, somebody needs to know what they're doing, and because you're actually giving them a script, you're giving them something that's not really tangible. They can't really hold it and sell it. So they have to know what's going on and how distribution works, and what are the risks involved and all that stuff.
Yeah, with distribution, is it like for feature films, where do you go to distribute that? Is it mainly like YouTube, Netflix subscription platforms, stuff like that? Where's
a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. Amazon could be.
Amazon, I
Netflix
know it's
could
big,
be.
Apple TV,
Yeah,
all
Apple
that.
TV. YouTube could be one.
Gotcha.
It all depends on the product.
Gotcha.
Because you might have something that nobody's interested in, so it's going to be hard to distribute, right? It might be something that everybody's interested in that, and they will actually pay you to take it on their platform. That's part of negotiations. There's some events you can go to that you can actually try to sell your production or find people that are willing to distribute your feature film or your product, as we call it.
I see.
With the industry slowing down and stuff, and you've been in this space during the slowdown,
Yeah.
right? So how has that affected you, or have you noticed the shift? Or
There has been a shift actually for a few years now that we've seen that, and that's one of the reasons we expanded and we changed our model. And that we were kind of lucky the way we set up our business is we have the technical aspect of it. So we have like filming and editing, and then we have production, and then distribution. It's been a wild ride, as we call it, because as you said, distribution in the past it was a lot better. There was more money involved. So if you could sell a production for more money, and they would actually buy the production and try to sell it. Now it's a little bit harder because it's easier to distribute it now. It's harder to get money. I don't know if it makes sense, right? So you can put it on YouTube for free, and have it there, but
That's not a
and then hope
guaranteed
for
return
but
on
hope for
investment.
views, but you might not get it. Where in the past you would actually sell the production. Now you can sell production, but it has to be specific. It has to have like specific talent in it, or the script should be nice, or
with the talent thing, it has to be A-lister, you said, to get any attention?
No, it doesn't have to. And there's some productions that don't
But that
have
helps.
A-listers, but it really helps a lot.
Gotcha.
It's not only the actor, right? It could be the director, the producer.
Gotcha.
A script writer. Somebody known that the audience would actually look at that movie or look at that feature film because of the name first, and that attracts more
revenue.
visibility. Right, exactly. It attracts more.
Yeah.
The studios will be more interested if somebody's attached to it. Now, there's cases where you have a movie that everybody's a nobody, right? And it's a hit, but it's a lot harder. You have to do a lot more work to it.
I see. Well, my question following up with that is, you've been doing this for a while. What inspired you to start or pursue this journey? in
Yeah.
this
So
industry?
as I said earlier, I don't want to say I didn't start as producing, right? I was led into it. Started from the technical aspect of it, and with a company with the equipment, and slowly we set up the studios, and then we got into it slowly. It's a passionate job, so you need to love it. If you don't, it's hard. It's not like a 9-to-5 job, first of all, and then even as you said, trying to make money out of it. There's a lot of money in the market, but it's very hard.
Very competitive, right?
Right, it's very competitive, very hard to find that money and make people trust you, right? That's the other thing. They have to trust your work. They have to trust.
Were you always passionate about this production stuff, or did it you just came across it and you're like, hey, this thing is cool? And
I'm self-taught, so
Okay.
I loved it. I went slowly, from editing, pretty much
Oh, wow.
hours of editing, and I started with very old software, that doesn't even exist right now. Avid Liquid is old software.
Got it.
And now it's a lot easier. It's a lot more automated. AI is involved and stuff like that. But when every person that I find that started way back with the old way that we used to do things, because you actually really had to work on it with old equipment and and I don't know, kind of loved it. It was like a craft now. It's it's kind of easier now. So younger generations can't really understand because you throw a video, you key in something for AI, and boom, you have a video.
It gives you clips as well.
Right, it gives you clips. At that time, you had to actually create everything from scratch. I mean, even animation, you had to go in there and think of it and try to create it. And that's why you needed a lot more people in productions, right?
Got it.
Now you see some productions and it's like minimal people that you just have.
Interesting.
So what do you think AI is having obviously a positive impact, but what is AI doing to this industry?
See, it's positive and negative, I would say. It makes it easier, a lot easier, because as you said, you can have this podcast today, right? And you throw it on a software and boom, it'll automatically have like 30 short clips for Instagram, for anywhere you want to, all the social media platforms. And you can do it like in a few hours, where in the past it would take 5 guys to do like 10 days of work, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is, I think, is people are not going to start being creative though, because you're going to rely on it. You're going to rely on, okay, I just get the footage, key in, prompt, and boom, get everything out. So then what happens now that if you need to start thinking of what you want, it's a little bit harder.
How would you define creative? Like, in what terms? Like editing, I would say. How would you back in the day put your creative ideas into it compared to today?
So as I said again, because right now a lot of things are automated.
Yeah.
People don't really think about what they're doing; they just do it. So, for example, cleaning an audio or a video, when it's not the camera is not, you didn't film it very well.
Yeah.
So you have to go and clean the screen. Now you just hit a button and it does it automatically. At that time, you had to start thinking of ways to make it better, right? And people had to think more at that time. Try to find ways to do a movie. Now it's more of getting a good software, getting AI. Now again, people are creative now too. It's not that they're going to stop, but it's just a lot of people slow down because you're getting lazy. You're getting lazy because now you have a software doing everything for you.
And that's ChatGPT, right?
It's ChatGPT. Everything has to do with AI pretty much. It's nice, and I've used it. I've used it. And the thing is right now is, and to be honest, right, some of the videos that are created now with AI, I mean, I would like to say they're not nice, but they are.
Yeah.
Right? So AI is doing a good job, right?
Yeah.
In the past, it wasn't. When they first started, you could tell a video that wasn't created by a human. You could tell it wasn't nice, right?
Now you can't tell. What you're saying.
Now it's getting
so
better and better.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, I would like to say that it doesn't look good, but it does.
What
right?
are these softwares called? Do you know any like names of them, or are you just saying it like in general?
Well,
Is there like any AI video softwares? I'm just curious.
well, just to create big, long movies, I mean, there's those apps, I would say right now. But even editing stations, like editing software like DaVinci Resolve and stuff like that, they're starting doing putting AI into it, right?
DaVinci is what you said it's called?
Yeah. They're starting to
They're putting AI
add AI.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of things that you can remove stuff from screens. I mean, you can have you can do stuff where in the past you had to work very hard and you had to be like a specialist to it. Now you can just go in there and just telling I remove this or add this and they'll do it.
Does it also have an impact on the scripts that come across nowadays?
They write scripts now with AI.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Yeah. There's somebody that just goes in ChatGPT and tells them, I want to write a script that says A, B, C, D, and the story of this person, and it's very detailed.
It's actually really good.
It's very detailed.
It's amazing how good it is.
To tell you the truth, I've used AI too, right? Because I'm not saying that I'm not using AI. Why not, right?
Yeah.
So we had an issue right now we're doing a short film that's a story from a girl that started from Greece, struggled, came here as an immigrant, made it, and made a good life here. So we're trying to make like a little short film because it's a little relevant now with immigration, all that stuff. I asked ChatGPT because I don't want to travel to Greece for that short film. The budget's not there, and I said, find me areas in Southern California that resemble this specific town in Greece, right?
Oh, that's a good idea.
And when I did that, I took that person that was from that city in Greece with me to go there and see, what is ChatGPT saying? Does it make sense? She was amazed. She said, it looks exactly like my hometown.
Wow.
So it's getting crazier and crazier. Now, imagine in the past, you needed a scout, a person that would actually scout areas and I had to pay for him to do that for me. Now, ChatGPT did it like in 10 seconds.
That's insane to think that how fast things are moving.
Right. So if you're creative and you know what to ask for AI and then use that to create a nice production, yes. But, it's...
Just relying on it too much will kind of kill your creativity.
Exactly.
Is what it's saying.
So so script editors, people that write scripts right now, I don't know, in a few years, I don't think they're... I mean, I hope they're still in business, but why? Why would I pay somebody... thousands of dollars when I can do it for free. Now, there are some cases because I talked to a lawyer that for AI, it's kind of dangerous because a lot of stuff that AI gives you,
From some other people.
yeah, it's something they find online.
Yeah.
They don't have the rights to give you that.
Yeah.
You take it thinking that, okay, ChatGPT gave it to me.
Yeah.
I'll use it, and then someone, you might have issues. So you have to be very careful on what you use. Like images, sometimes
Yeah.
they create an image that looks realistic.
Yeah, but it's a copyright.
It's actually copied pieces from other images. That's what I was looking around, and it's kind of dangerous if you use it for promotion materials and stuff like that, because then you might have somebody coming back and say, "Okay, this belongs
I
to
wrote
me."
this, yeah.
I wrote this, or it's
ChatGPT grabbed it from
ChatGPT just
somebody else.
grabbed it from a post, whatever. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful with what you
Interesting.
use.
But
and how
would
you
you
use it.
say that the people who do write the scripts add a personal human touch?
Yes, because most of the
compared to
people
AI?
that write the script, they're attached to it because they write it for a reason. Right?
Yeah.
And those are the scripts I like. Not just somebody just sits in their desk and just creates stories.
Yeah.
I like the scripts are based on like life or somebody did because their life or their friend's life or something that they know. And I like those stories better because they're realistic and they have some truth into it. They might be a little, you add some other stuff to make it more, better for
Flamboyant.
screen and
Yeah.
for selling. But it's hard though with AI. It's hard. Just hopefully it's getting better. We should use it for good things.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, the industry. I mean, you saw what happened a few years ago with the strikes. Part of it was AI, right?
Really?
Yeah, they were trying to.
Strikes was for
Or
The writer's
here in
strike
strikes and
and
all that
the-
stuff. It had to do with AI
actors
because
strike and everything.
it had to do with AI because they use stuff and then you can use it for free and then somebody so all these people are going to stay out of work if you use AI, ChatGPT for example, and there's other AI softwares out there that Gemini
I think they
now
were
with Google.
Yeah,
they
there
were
is.
mentioning that they were trying to replace the background actors with AI.
Exactly, yeah, stuff like that.
And,
Yeah,
that
or they can use an image and then actually create a script
Yeah.
without you being there.
yeah.
So they'll just pay you for
your photo
for your
or-
photo, and then
yeah.
boom, they use you forever. So those are things that
interesting.
the market right now is kind of new, and they have to get that going. But it's getting numbers are. I mean, the prices are lowering, so it's a lot harder to make money. So you really have to like it, and that's why I tell a lot of young people that start now is, don't think that you're going to become rich in one day, right?
Yeah.
Or you're going to get that big script. You can, and you can make a lot of money. You just got to be creative, and you have to really work into it.
How important is network and connections in your business?
It's the main thing, I think.
Yeah.
That's why you have to go to events. That's why you have to know people. It helps a lot.
What kind of events should people go to? Like they're
Okay,
like
so that's a good question because a
Yeah.
lot of people tell me that, right? Especially here in Southern California, when it comes to media. I mean, technically, there's an event almost every day, right? There's not a formula on what is a good event or a bad event. You just have to do a little research. Who's hosting it?
Okay.
Who's going there? And you just have to go to events and just sometimes you go and it's a waste of time. Sometimes you go and you never know who you're going to meet, right?
Is there a certain
There's a lot of
platform?
parties you can go to
Okay.
and get some connections. But it's not like you go to an event and boom, automatically you get a script or you automatically get a job. And I've been to events where I just met one person and 3 years down the road, that one person helped me out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You never know. You just keep
So
contacting.
where can people who are listening to this podcast right now find these events? Like, is there a platform or website where they can go sign up?
No, that's not actually one platform, one website. But you can look at festivals.
Okay.
That's a good way to get into film festivals because there you get creators and stuff
Got
like that. They happen all the time. Social media like Facebook, a lot of groups, and then they post stuff like that. I don't want to say meetups because with meetups it's hit or miss. I mean, it depends on who does it. Sometimes they're just promotion
Got it.
meetups, and you just go there and they try to sell you something. So that's in general, and then it's word of mouth a lot of times. So in the beginning, you'll struggle to find good events.
Yeah.
But then you go to one event and you talk to people, and then they'll tell you, they'll send you a text. I'm going to another event tomorrow. And then you have to. That's how it
I
works.
think it
usually.
just connects with what he was asking you, networking and connections.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think that's a great point that he brought up.
Yeah.
And do you want to follow up with anything else?
Yeah. What's the most challenging thing about making a film? Because you've been working on film a lot, right?
Yeah, working with a huge, like a large group of people.
Yeah. And how many people are you working with on these shoots?
Oh, the one feature film we're working on right now, the faith-based one, that's going to be almost 100 some people.
Wow.
Because don't forget, it's not only the actors, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about
crew.
technicians. We're talking
Yeah.
about makeup artists. We're talking
Yeah.
about
Casting
casting
director.
directors, people that have to do with costumes, and
Yep.
so it's a ton of people. Now getting them all on the same page, because booking a studio for one day, you can't have people telling you, I can't make it that day, or I
Yeah.
can't be here. So it's hard getting all these people aligned and working together.
And you're the one who's responsible for that, right?
In some cases,
essentially?
yes. Some cases,
But you have
yes.
people that help you with that
Of
and
course,
whatnot.
yes, definitely. Yeah.
And
And
then
then
who are those people? Are those your ADs? Or are those your PAs? Or who are those people?
you need everything.
Yeah.
You need everything. I have a group of people. Usually, when in a studio, we have like 6, 7 people that I trust that oversee specific areas.
Gotcha.
And then from there, you get people, and then you need to sign agreements. So that's the other thing. You try to get them with documents. You try to have some agreements with, and it's challenging because sometimes you have people that bill on you. And it's hard, and you can't stop. Studio space is expensive. You can't just say okay. And sometimes it's not available. So if you miss the deadline, that studio can charge you again and for another day. But they might tell you, it's 15 days down the road that you can get another day at that studio. You know what I mean? So those are the challenges there.
So how essential is the communication part in this industry?
It's huge, huge. That's why you only work with people that you trust, especially in the key positions. And you try and find a group. And that's why sometimes it's a little bit hard for new people to get into productions, because a producer or director, they like to work with specific people because they trust. They trust them.
Okay, it's not about just who you like. It's more than that.
Right. It's if you trust them. So a lot of times you might hear a director, hey, I want this makeup artist with me, or I want this audio guy with me, or I want this camera guy with me, because they know that they can trust him. They know they can trust him. They speak the same language. They know what they want.
Is that a deal breaker for some directors?
Some they put us specific, like I want these people, because
Yeah.
and that's why some of these directors have a good name, because when they work with people they trust and with people that they know what they need, they can
builds
get the
their
better
reputation.
outcome. Yeah, it's better than having a new guy that just showed up and you try to explain to him like, no, I don't do this. They don't have time for that. You have to get in, film, and get out.
So it's really building your reputation as a professional in this space.
Exactly. That's why it's not only the networking and getting to know people is doing a very good job and being professional, right? You have to be very professional in order to stay in the business.
So if someone has to get into production as a new guy, what would be your best advice?
Okay, first of all, for production, because that's a little vague, right? Production, what is production, right? It's you have to know a little bit of everything.
Okay.
If you don't know what's going on with post-production or filming or lights or audio, you're not going to be the light guy. You're not going to be the person that does the lights or the person that does the audio, but you need to know everything. Because if you don't know everything, you don't know what to ask for.
Okay. That's a great point.
So it's, they can't tell the person that has the mics what to do if I don't know how that works.
So are you on set listening to the sound and watching the
Yes,
playback?
we have different different screens sometimes
Yeah.
that we look into. The director has the main
like a little iPad or something? That
yeah,
he's
we have
looking at?
screens. We have
Yeah,
big
little
screens,
screens.
professional. Because
Gotcha.
that's the other thing with color. You have to make sure that's color accurate.
So you're there on set always looking at it, hey, this is what we're getting, because you want to see that final product, right? That's where you're involved in.
Right. And so this is the key, and a lot of people don't understand is you can do a lot of things with post-production later, but the better you film it,
Yes.
the
Easier
better
it is.
it's easier for post, and you can do a better job afterwards. So that's why
If some shot needs to be
Retaken.
right,
can
right,
retake it at
right.
the moment.
Sometimes you can't retake a shot though, so you have to have it perfect and then edit it. You can change it on editing sometimes,
Yeah.
but the better you have it on screen, the better you can do it. And then there's some directors that they want a specific look, right? So you have to get that look. So you have to,
So would you say for each role they look
For a specific person with a specific hair color, like in terms of talent.
Yeah, well, talent, that's a different monster there, right?
Yeah.
Talent, you're the talent director. And then, there, yes, when it comes to casting, it's not only the hair and the color, it's the height, the weight, everything. Sometimes some scripts are so specific that they want a specific person, yes, and it's hard to find.
How does that work? Is it really the writer imagining, okay, this guy's 180 pounds, he's blonde?
Exactly. It
Right.
depends on the script. Some are not so specific.
Yeah.
So they might just say, I want a male, from 25 to 32 years old, whatever, right? And some are specific. Yes, I want because they want to pass a message. So they want a person that's specific height, specific weight, size, everything. And that's why you have, a casting director where they need to find that person.
And do you have your kind of go-to casting director that you work with?
I have a few people that I work with. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some companies that we work with.
Male and female casting directors? I know there's a lot of both, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We can't pick that.
Yeah.
You need a person that knows if you give him something. That's the other thing. They need to have their network on finding people.
Yeah.
Because you've seen those casting events that they do sometimes, and they get like thousands of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially on
Backstage and
Yeah,
casting
backstage.
network.
Yeah, the backstage is nice, but sometimes it attracts like everybody, right?
Yeah.
Everybody. So you can't have that. But it's with the script again, and when it comes to talent, right? And that's why I tell a lot of actors that start, because you find actors, you find everybody when you go to events like this. There's a role for everybody pretty much. You just have to find it, and you have to. It's hard. It's hard for actors. It's very hard right now because pretty much everybody in the world wants to come here to become an actor.
Yeah.
Right. So the market is big, but it's not that big for
Opportunities
everybody.
are very
It's a
limited.
big fish.
You're
not
right.
a big fish, a big pond. You're a small fish in a big
Exactly.
pond.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're
So-
somewhere like San Francisco, you're a medium fish in a medium pond
Right.
or something
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah. And,
But it's interesting with the casting stuff. What do you think are like the main things casting directors look for? Is it this guy looks the certain way, or he can perform it? Is it both?
It's both.
Does it depend
It's
on the
both.
project? That was what I was going to ask.
It's both. To give you an example, I had a famous. He was a Greek actor. I knew him. He was fit for a specific role, as body type, size, everything, but he had a huge, heavy Greek accent. Well, American accent. You could tell he was American, right? So they dubbed the audio with somebody else. Right, so you can do stuff like that.
A voiceover.
like a
voice
voice
Their
actor.
voiceover, yeah. So
Really?
because they wanted
just wanted
him
his look so
they
bad,
wanted him his look, his
but they didn't
size,
like the way
everything.
that he
But
talked.
he had a very huge, like heavy.
Could you tell in post at all, or was it so clean?
No,
couldn't
well,
even
if you
tell?
do a good job, you
Yeah.
can't tell. If you do a good job, you can't tell. So those are the things. But in general, yes, a good actor has to not only fit the role, but he has to actually act, right? He has to act. You can't just. And that's another thing that a lot of directors sometimes get pissed off and mad, because you have somebody on stage and they tell you what to do, and because they don't have acting skills, well, they have to do a lot of retakes, and that's a problem, because now you start,
Wasting
time,
yeah.
wasting time for some other shoot they want to do at the same time.
Makes it
People
harder
get
in post too,
frustrated.
right? Yeah.
Other actors on set that are professionals get frustrated for
Yes.
somebody that's not professional.
Yeah.
So those are things you have to manage on stage, and that's why it's good to use professionals, and because then you have less stress also on the stage. Those are things you see on set. And then a lot of times when we have actors that are not as professional, and we know it, we might do like a take outside of a studio. We're going to
like a warm-up?
space, and then we just do the shoot there, and then we see how they act and how they react.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had an issue.
You get a feel for what it looks like on camera. and
Right,
then you decide if
yeah.
you want to take it
We
into
were
the
filming
studio.
a cooking show, for example. That was a Greek cooking show, and we're actually working on it right now too. Again, to revise it with a American twist. And the one talent, she was a cook, she was a Greek cook. She wasn't an actor or anything like that. We had an issue where when we were talking in person, she would tell us the recipes, how to do them. I'll do this, I'll do that, whatever. She was perfect, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. When the camera turned on, boom, she would freeze. She would just sit there, watch, and just freeze, not saying nothing. And then we would tell her okay, go. And then she would mess it up.
She just wasn't very experienced.
Right.
or
When we
whatever.
turned off the camera and we said, okay, now say the recipe. She would we use this, and we do that.
She was stage
very,
fright. She had
when we
some
turned on the camera, boom, she would freeze, right? We found a way to work with it, but we had to replace her because we couldn't. There was no way we could do a shoot with her. She was perfect as a cook.
Yeah.
She knew what she was doing, but she could not perform at all.
You think that's just anxiety or getting in your head, or
Right, yeah. It's a lot of people think.
watching you, and you can't,
Right, right.
It's a lot of pressure.
Right, and if you're not used to that,
Yeah.
and then suddenly you see a device in front of you, it's a camera, right?
Yeah.
And a light, and it's kind of lights on your face because you have, and everything, and people are looking. You have like 10 people behind looking at you, waiting for you. And you have people with boom mics on top of you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You just freeze,
Yeah.
if you're not
Interesting.
used to it. Yeah.
But if you are used to it, it's like nothing, right?
Right, exactly, and that's part of being an actor. That
Yeah.
you're used to. You should be used to that. A lot of people
Have you done any acting before in your life?
No,
No, just producing.
Just producing. Yeah, I'm behind the camera.
Behind the
This is
camera.
one of the few times I'm in front of the camera.
Why is that? That's where you want to be?
Yeah. I believe if you don't have the talent to be an actor, I mean, you're not an actor. I mean, a lot of people think that
They
you
say
can.
they're an actor.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can become an actor and being the guy sitting in the, behind the scenes in a coffee shop, just drinking coffee. I can be that guy, but I couldn't act. I couldn't
Make a career out of
Yeah,
that.
I couldn't
That's
make a
not-
career.
that's not
No, I
sustainable.
couldn't read a role. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to say I'm lazy to read or I can't remember lines. I wouldn't do it. I couldn't.
Couldn't
Just
you?
being honest with myself, I just couldn't. I would love to be a famous actor, but I can't. Yeah.
What about even when you're writing these scripts, you don't want to just put a little role for yourself and like as a supporting role? Or
I was thinking of
something?
doing some stuff
save,
like
save
that.
some money for the
Yeah.
budget.
You've seen some old movies where you see
Yeah,
actually the
the director
director is
comes
actually
in.
walking.
Yeah.
I was thinking of doing stuff like that where I'm just sitting in the back, being the guy, and they're like, "Hey, look, I was actually in there." But yeah, no, I don't. I never liked. I don't say
You don't
liked
like
acting.
it? Yeah.
I just
some people don't like
yes,
it. Yeah.
I don't
Some
like
people do
being
like it.
an
Like,
actor. Yeah.
put me in front of that camera. Some people are like, you know what? No, I don't want to be there.
Yeah,
you know?
well, for example, for producing, I didn't start as a producer, as I said, but I liked it.
Yeah.
I started getting involved with it. I liked the process. I liked doing it. So I got into it. With acting, I thought of it once, but I couldn't read a script. I couldn't remember a script. I mean, if you turn on the camera, I would forget the words.
it's
You know what I mean?
different, yeah.
It's not like this right now where we
Yeah,
just
it's very
speak our
different,
mind.
yeah.
It's there. You had to remember a line. I couldn't do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
And is there usually like a lot of people
In that room when you're shooting those, or it's like
Yeah, in
I
some
can't-
cases,
I
there's
can't
in
reduce
some cases
the
there's a
amount.
lot of people. Some cases
Okay,
there's
so it's
people
like
with lights, audio guys, camera operators, people that support,
Yeah.
right? There's sometimes behind the cameras there might be like 20, 30 people, and that's why sometimes people freeze up because suddenly you have like 10 faces looking at you.
Yeah.
And you're
Listening
like,
to
okay,
everything you're saying.
what do I say now? And you start sweating.
You
and
do
you're
start
sitting
thinking
there.
of it, yeah.
Yeah. Then you have
I've
the
been in
makeup
those
artist saying, "Oh, he's
situations,
sweating. Got to stop." And then
Yeah.
put some makeup on. And
okay.
then
Yeah,
it's
then
like,
you
oh,
get
what am
more
I-
nervous.
yeah, and then you sit there and it's like, oh, okay, what do I do now? And then people.
And then there's kind of a tension that builds up, like we need to get this done.
right. And then you hear
you're-
the
and you're
director's
taking
yelling
care
in
of
the
it.
back, like, "What's going on? Why is it taking so long?" And it's like, and the person just dies and he just sits there and just looks like, okay, I can't do that.
so.
So that comes with experience, is what you're
Yes,
saying.
yes.
Do they also improv a lot or no?
Not
or
really, no, right? It's mainly the script,
You
right?
can't. Yeah, you
can't,
can't. You have to be very. In order to improv, you have to be. I don't know. You have to follow the script.
Okay.
And you have to follow the script by line. Not only just you can't just say things.
You can
out of
add in
line.
your own
Yeah,
flow,
no,
right?
no,
Some
no.
directors won't like that, right?
No.
Because some actors will do that.
Well, you have to be a
occasionally,
very known actor
To do something like
to do
that.
something like that. And
Yeah.
some actors,
Yeah.
even known actors, if the director, usually they want to follow the script.
Yeah,
'Cause what
that
happens
was gonna be
is-
my next question, actually.
Yeah, because the thing is, a lot of people, and if you look at it from a director's point of view, if you let people do whatever they want because they think of it, then what is his job, right? His job
Yeah.
is
Yeah, that is
to direct, right? He's a director, right? So if he, that's why he's there. That's why he's getting paid
Yeah.
the big bucks, right?
Yeah.
He's getting paid actually most of the money besides some A-listers.
That's one
right?
of the biggest.
Right, the biggest budget,
paid
right? So you have the
director.
biggest paid guy
Yeah.
sitting there and having you change the lines because you feel like that's gonna be better.
Yeah.
No, it's you pay him, you pay him to do that job. So that's one of the reasons. Yeah, that's one of the reasons that a director won't like you changing a script or doing something like that because that's his job. He can change it, but again, sometimes the script doesn't allow that either. Like he has to get confirmation too if he wants to change something.
So actors should always run that by the director. They should not
Definitely,
just be that. Because
definitely.
I've seen
No,
that
no.
on set too, where the
but
actor goes, "Hey, I don't like how this is said. Let's say it a different way." And personally, when I was also acting in that, I don't really like that. I think you should stick to the script. no matter what.
As again, you,
You can
can
talk
tell
about
them.
it,
Yeah, you
but,
can talk
I mean,
about it, but most directors,
You're not
especially
the
the,
writer,
professional
right?
ones,
Yeah.
if you do that, they get upset and they get mad. And I'm with them. I'm with them on that one because you're an actor. You should do acting. You're not a director. And again, it's not that
Yeah,
you're
it's
not
not personal.
It's not
That's their
personal,
job,
but
yeah.
that's his job,
That's
right?
business.
The same way the guy does the lights. The director gives directions. I want it to be a specific mood.
Yeah.
It's his job to do it.
Yeah.
It's not the actor's job to tell him, okay, you're not using the right light.
Yeah.
It's his job. He's getting paid for that.
Because
right?
the company and the agency sometimes signs off on those scripts, right? And
Exactly.
they're
Yeah, you
involved in
can't
that,
change it,
especially
yeah.
with like commercials,
Yeah.
right? Like actors
there might
should
be a
not
message
changing.
you're trying to pass, right?
Yeah.
And if you switch the words,
Yeah.
then suddenly the message is not there.
Comes off awful.
Exactly, it comes off, and then you got to be careful on stuff in some cases like that. I mean,
Wow.
right now we're working on a faith-based movie.
Yeah.
You got to be very careful on what you say there because you might offend a specific
It's gotta be very
group of
PG
people.
is what you're saying,
Well,
right?
exactly, yeah. Because
Yeah.
yeah, for me, I might not know if I change this word to that word, it's or that meaning. But but again, as I said again, everybody has his own job in the set.
That might just change the
whole
whole.
message that you're gonna
Exactly, it could be anything. Now there might be some small changes that people might not say anything, but in general, you stay with the script.
Yeah, the script. Cool. Good to know for all the actors.
actors who are listening to it right now.
Right. Don't forget the other thing. If there's like 5-6 actors in the scene, right?
Yeah.
And you change
If
the
it's
words,
still-
you mess up the other guys.
Yeah.
Then,
Those are their cue lines to
Right,
do
right.
their
And then
lines.
what do I say it now or wait a minute? What did he
Yeah.
say now? You know what I mean? So those are things you
that's a
can't
good
really
right.
change because you have other people around you that you
okay.
have to follow the script. And there's cues as you said, and
Yeah.
you have to keep with that.
So if you're an actor and you don't like the way it's written, you should probably pick a different profession because you should be sticking to the script.
Right.
Yeah.
You can express your opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't know, a director might listen to it and might say, okay, you know what, smart, good idea. We might do it, but you never do it while you're filming.
yeah.
First of all,
Yeah.
that's. I mean, any actor should know that you don't change
Yeah.
the words while you're filming. That's for sure. And usually, you just express the changes that you think might be better to the right avenue. Sometimes you don't even go to the director. You talk to the person that's in charge of the
AD
set,
or
or,
producer.
and then they will tell you, you know what, no.
Or if you're not comfortable with it or what. But a lot of times
Right.
there's going to be things that are out of your comfort zone in acting, right? Like these
Right.
writers.
But then again,
Yeah.
you have the script with you.
Yeah.
They give it to you in advance. There's nothing to work with. And I've never seen a set where the
yeah.
actor just shows up and here's your script.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it might be a scene, I don't know,
least a
a
couple
scene,
days
whatever,
before,
right?
yeah.
You might not be comfortable with,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So those are things that you have the right to say, okay, I refuse the role. I don't want to do it. Or unless you change it, right? And they might change it. They might change it because if they really want you on the script, they might change the script.
So how hard is it to get repeatable business
In this industry.
as on the production side and on?
As an
It's-
actor.
I can't say repeatable. I can't because it's not you finish one project and boom, automatically start the other one. There's times where you have 3 projects at the same time and you barely manage them.
Okay.
And there might be months you have nothing, right? And that's the hard part. That's why a lot of people leave that industry because it's not
The freelance side of it.
right? It's a freelance side of it, but it's not even, like a plumber where usually you have some kind of work
consistent.
every day.
Yeah.
It's with a production you might be overwhelmed for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months because you have 3 productions: a short film, a music video, and a feature film, and you can't even balance them because it's so hard to work. And then it might be like 6 months where you have nothing, right?
Interesting.
Now, what do we do with those 6 months? You have nothing, right? Because it happens. A lot of PR, right? That's when you talk to people. That's where you try to find new scripts. That's where you're trying to find people with scripts and tell them, hey, you know what? You had a script. Let me see it. Maybe I can do something with it. Or maybe we can try to get,
That's when you
it
get into the
running.
networking side.
Exactly, yeah. Because when you're running and you're filming,
Yeah.
you have no time. You have no time. You're juggling all these people together and trying to figure out what to do and having all these issues because there's always issues.
What are these issues? To give some examples.
It could scenes, for example. If you do realistic scenes, and there's a scene that has to do with rain, for example, right? Okay, is it going to rain? That specific day, right?
Yeah.
And it's not. You look at the forecast; it will rain.
Yeah.
You go in the shoot and it doesn't rain, right? Now, what do? Do you try to use fake rain, or there's some directors
Get
who
a
might tell you,
crane,
no, I
yeah.
want a realistic. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes you travel to different countries.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
you can't do it. That's why you go to different countries sometimes, and you see films, and they say, okay, this shot was filmed in XYZ country.
yeah.
And you're thinking, why? Why this country? It's an American story.
Yeah.
Why did they go to Brazil, for example? Because they went the rain scene, and that's where it was raining that year, that time of year. So those are the things that you juggle. Again, all that has to do with the budget you have available, though, right? Because that costs a lot of money to travel and to move
Get the whole
countries.
crew going.
Right.
What do these budgets look like? Just like from a range on examples, like for a feature film, like a
Okay,
good,
so
good feature film.
Okay, so a good feature film. Okay, so let's if I put it in brackets, very low budget one would be 5 to 7 million. Middle range would be 10 to 20-ish, and then everything above that is better range.
So low budget is $5 million.
Right, but that part of the industry has shifted also. Where in the past, if you talk to a director for a $5 million budget, they would laugh. They would tell you, "No, we're not doing it. What is that?
That's not enough, yeah.
I was like, what are you like? School kids are trying to do something. That's how they would react, right?
Wow.
Now, you saw with the Oscars, what happened there, right? A $5 million movie got Oscars, right?
Yeah.
Got an Oscar nomination, and they actually got an Oscar.
Wow.
When in the past
Really?
that wasn't you couldn't do that.
And that's because of AI, is what you're saying. And
Well,
all the
it's
color
AI
effects
because
and whatnot?
the market has shrunk a little bit, and then now you have like famous actors willing to do something
so that can't,
cheaper
like,
as long as
hypes up the value.
as long as the script is nice, right? Because
Yeah.
they want to keep the
It's more about the quality now.
Right? Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter the budget.
Right, right. And then plus there's so much talent out there, so many people out there that don't have work. So they're willing to do a little bit more affordable work and but that's the other thing. So now you can do a decent movie with 5 million, for example. Not a decent movie, a movie that can get some awards and go places, right?
And then all of the money that you make out of the revenue by the watch time, views.
The box office.
Yeah, that's distribution.
That's the add-on.
Yeah, then sponsors. You can find sponsors. It depends on what it is, and there's different ways you can try and make money. Sometimes you put sponsors in the movie, right? So you might be in the cafeteria, the
Yeah.
specific
Really?
one.
That's how it works, huh?
Well, if
Like
you
you
get
get a Starbucks sponsor,
if
you
you
get a
get
Starbucks or
Starbucks to sponsor it, then you
Yeah.
can put the logo. You're not allowed to put the logo unless they sponsor it, right? So that's why sometimes you might see something that resembles Starbucks, but it's not,
got
right?
it.
Just
seen
to
that
give
for
you
sure.
just to give you that vibe that
Yeah.
you're in Starbucks
Or McDonald's or something.
or McDonald's, yeah. And you have to be very careful with
Because
that
if you do
stuff
use
too.
that, they can come back at you
Exactly, yeah,
and say, "Hey, look, that's our logo."
So
You
that's
can't
where
make
you have to
money
be
on
careful.
that.
Yeah, because you're
And then
cashing
you're in a legal
in.
problem at that
Exactly.
point.
So you have to be very, very careful and stuff like that. But if they sponsor the movie and you get them as a sponsor,
And
then
now
you'll be
you're
able to use your logo, and then they'll come in and they'll have their people tell you okay how the logo.
And
looks.
realistically, what companies would sponsor? Have you had any? Can you name any that you've had?
Well, some cafeterias are willing to do that,
okay, cool.
and especially smaller ones because.
Interesting.
Promote their business.
Yeah, like Starbucks, they have a huge budget for
They don't- yeah, they don't
advertising.
need all that
So
crap, yeah.
unless the movie is big and
Yeah.
and famous, and they're gonna get more traction. If I don't know, a small movie, they might not be interested. But smaller companies are trying to get in the market. They would be willing to do that. Some clothing companies, they're willing to sponsor. So you have an athlete running.
You just have
and-
all the clothing for the whole entire.
Right,
movie
yeah.
or
You
something
have a
like
scene
that?
where an athlete is running, or a person is running in the park, and he wears like Nike or Adidas, whatever
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
sponsorship.
Wow.
So in cases
they
like
see the-
that,
they see
they
the
might
value.
be able to sponsor and say, okay, you know what, we're going to give you the clothes, we're going to give you this, but you're going to make sure that the logo is shown and credits at the end. You can charge for credits at the end of the movie sometimes. There's different ways now you try to make money and try to make
Interesting.
money from different
Kind of market
avenues.
the movie.
Yeah.
Use the movie as
Yeah.
a way to make some money. It's
Yeah, some kind of money at least to get some money as a budget. And I mean, crowdfunding is another way to start and stuff like that. And
So the equipment that you have, is it yours or do you rent it out?
I have some equipment, and then we rent out because there's again that has to do with the production, the director, everything. Some directors might tell you I want these specific cameras. Right?
Ah, okay.
The problem is that with cameras, especially, they're expensive, and technology changes rapidly. So you can't really buy one of each because 3 years down the road you have to replace them, right?
Got it.
So you rent. There's companies out there that you can rent equipment, you can rent cameras. We have some that we use for smaller productions like music video, because they're
More
not
standard.
they're not so specific on what they need. But when it comes to productions, we usually rent. Yes.
Got it.
Equipment.
Got it. You mentioned you're working on
Two projects, right
Yes.
now.
So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the one faith-based, I said again, can't say the name because we didn't get funding yet.
Okay.
And so it's not released. That's part of the production.
Yeah, part of the game,
Part of
right?
the
Yeah.
game. They said it was part of the agreement, the NDA that we signed, that we cannot mention names unless we get the funding. If we get the funding.
Lots of NDAs. In this space, right? Yeah.
Right. And that's
I've
another
signed
topic.
NDAs too.
That's another topic, the NDAs.
Yeah.
The NDA is another topic because there's so many NDAs out there, then some don't protect you and some actually might get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
So the two, one there's another faith-based that's going to be filmed in Greece. We're helping them with funding there, as I said again, try and find people to fund it here. And after we get the funding, then we'll do the shoots there. And the third one is actually a short film. Actually,
Wow,
the one
okay.
I told you is we're co-producing it. Actually, that's from a girl that was in Greece and she moved here and she was immigration, all those issues that she had and everything. And there's one right now that we actually got a few days ago. We signed the NDAs and we're gonna co-produce and actually help them with funding.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
That's great.
So those are things that we're working
The
on.
business is good.
It's good. The thing is, all those NDAs I said earlier, that's where you gotta understand the industry.
Okay.
I'm very busy. Everything's cool, but we haven't got paid for most of those jobs,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Because it's all about getting the NDA and talking about how we can help. right?
Interesting.
Uh,
How does that go into the finance part, the NDAs? Like you said, you.
no, it's not
Separate,
finance.
it's
It's separate. The NDA is an
Non-disclosure
agreement you have,
agreement.
non-disclosure agreement you have
Yeah,
with a
I
person.
know, but you were talking about the money part.
No. You have to be careful sometimes with
Okay.
NDAs, as said,
Okay.
because with NDAs, there's some cases where they're so vague that you sign something that you can get in trouble for any reason.
Okay.
You have to be
Okay.
very specific on signing an NDA. You have to be very careful when you sign stuff, in general.
Take photos of all those things you sign.
You take photos, and you
Sorry,
got to
go
make
ahead.
sure that when you sign something and that it's specific, because you can't just say that okay, you're in charge of this production, and anything that happens, you're liable, right? Because what do you mean, am I liable? If somebody else leaks the name, for example, of the movie I talked earlier, I can't pay a fine for that. You can't hold me accountable
Yeah.
for it, right?
Okay.
There's proof that you asked me the name of it, and I said no, right?
Yeah.
I'm covered there. I followed
Got
the
it.
NDA that I signed, right?
Interesting.
Very
So
cool.
read
The documents. Maybe
Yeah.
do you guys also have lawyers?
Yeah, you always need a lawyer,
Okay.
and those lawyers are expensive too. Media
Really?
lawyers are specific.
Really?
lawyers.
Okay,
Really
wow.
interesting. And how much would you spend on that if you don't mind sharing?
Well,
If you
price
probably can't.
usually anywhere from $300 an hour.
$300 an hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
Up north of that too. as
It's
well,
three
right?
and going up. Yeah, it all depends.
And how many hours is a session with these guys?
They might tell you minimum like 4 or 5 hours just to
Minimum
look at
4
it.
hours.
Yeah,
So
they're not
then
going
the-
to charge you for like half an hour. No.
Yeah.
yeah.
But again, you know what?
It's
A lawyer
worth
and
it though
accountant,
sometimes, right?
they're gonna save the day, right? Because there's so many people out there, and when it comes to productions, people get sometimes crazy, and they think they can get money those ways, trying to sue, trying to sue
Go around
people.
the gray area a little
Right. So then that's why they charge that kind of money, right? I always believe you should always have a lawyer and accountant.
bit. Okay.
I know it's outside the creative part and everything
Yeah.
like that, but I want to be safe and secure that at least because I work with so many people.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You don't know where it's going to come from. So.
So running a business, you got to play defense sometimes, right?
Right, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And sometimes you just need a lawyer to set you up in the beginning, like create the process, and then you just follow the process, right? So you just have to learn the industry and what to expect.
see.
you know.
I think that comes with experience, I would say, right?
Yes. And then there's stuff that you see in the market that happens, and sometimes you have issues with, it could be with actors. That's why it's good to work
Actors
with
and
professionals, right?
actresses, yeah.
A professional actor that's going to be SAG-AFTRA and stuff like that. Usually, and again, there's so many actors, you can't talk about everybody.
Yeah.
But a professional usually acts as a professional, right? They're not going to come in a production try to destroy the production by
Yeah.
suing them.
Yeah.
They want to do their job, get their role, get paid, get
go
their
home,
exposure, and go home. Same thing with the director. Same thing with a professional. So that's why you should pick professionals and not just somebody that just showed up and told you, "Hey, I want to
I
become an
can do
actor."
it,
Yeah,
check
I
out my
can do
cover
it. Yeah,
letter,
trust me, I
yeah.
can do it. I'm an actor.
Yeah.
Okay, but
They want your money. That's
right,
what they want.
you never know. It could be
Yeah.
a good person that
Yeah,
just
there's
wants to
probably
get in the
some
market.
professional non-union
Yeah, but
actors.
I wouldn't risk it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't risk it. It's cheaper, but sometimes dangerous.
It's worth it though, paying that price. is what
Yeah,
you're
for
saying,
me,
like
it's
the
a lot of people
lawyers
tell me
and
like,
whatnot.
why would you pick a professional actor or a professional, a person that holds a camera and audio guides? Because that counts at the end. And when it comes to production, studio space sometimes is very expensive per hour. So the professionals will get the job done faster.
It's easier.
So you're
for
saving
us.
money. At the
Yeah.
end of the
More
day.
out
So
of
you'll
your
save
time.
at the end, right? It sounds
Better return on investment.
right. It sounds expensive at the beginning,
Yeah.
because you might find a guy holding a camera and you tell, just give me something, whatever, right? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give you $100 for it. Yeah, but now you have a person that doesn't know how to use a camera. It doesn't know what to do with a camera,
You're
right?
losing money.
So, right. Now you have a professional where you pay him a lot more, but you say nothing. You
Yeah.
just tell him, I want this filmed, I want this footage, and boom, he just delivers it, right? So it's what you pay for,
Got it.
And that comes with this industry, right? Like IMDb is big, right? Having credits. How important is that?
Right. Credits when it comes to directors and producers and all that. I mean, even makeup artists now
Yeah.
have IMDb's, right?
They have credits,
Credits, because you have to know that, because it's all about timing, right? It's all about time and professionalism. That's what it is. Now the problem starts when there's a low budget film and you don't have the funds to get a very professional, because they're going to charge for more. Of course, they should charge for more, right? The expertise, you have to pay for the expertise.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't mean somebody that starts and doesn't have a good IMDb account, because they never did a film, right? They have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So you have to trust some people. But
You'll get your shot.
but when it comes to a big movie and a serious production, I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't risk it. You should always give a chance to new people, and
Yeah.
I love giving chance to new people.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a group of people, and then people that fund you that waiting for a return for their money.
Yeah.
You can't risk it. I wouldn't risk it.
That would lower your credibility if you did risk
Exactly,
it, right?
yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
that'll come on you if you cast
Exactly,
an actress
yeah.
who doesn't work or they don't like the look of the framing or whatnot, the lighting.
Exactly.
That
yeah.
looks bad on your group.
Right,
But
right.
if it
And-
looks good, then they're all happy and then they get you more and then they
right.
give you
Exactly.
referrals.
And then when you show up again for
Yeah.
the next project, they'll be like, yes, we had a great time. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's how it works. That's how the market works.
That's great. That's great. Look, talk about your podcast before we end out. You're working on a
so-
podcast too.
Yeah. So the reason for the podcast is because we do so many things, right? Podcast is trending. I mean, you guys are doing it too. It's very- I saw some of your work. It's very nice.
Thank
very
you.
professional.
Appreciate it.
And so we created a podcast called Film, Tech, and Finance, right?
Oh, okay.
The reason is pretty much that's what we work with, right? Film, we do the production. It's going to talk about producers. We'll bring producers on and directors and anything that has to do with film actors and
Okay.
the technology aspect of it, which is editing, cameras, lights, everything that we work with. And then the finance part of it, which is pretty much the heart of everything, where we talk about investors and how to invest.
it.
Pretty much the conversation we had today, pretty much.
Okay.
It's going to be a podcast, but we're going to get people from the industry coming in
Share
and
their
giving their
expertise.
expertise on a specific subject. So
Awesome.
we already did some tests. One of our problem is, again, because being in the production, our first shows, we used professional cameras and they're overkill. I mean,
Oh, really?
We got some
Okay.
huge footage and we couldn't even edit them. Yeah, it was too much work just to edit them. So we try to scale down a little bit and make it more streamlined and more easier
Gotcha.
to work with. So so that's what we're
Wow,
working on,
that's
yeah.
great. That's a great
Business endeavor you're on. a
Yeah,
different
yeah,
tangent.
you're gonna come on my podcast.
Yeah,
and get-
please,
We have to.
please.
Yeah, we have to.
Have us over anytime, man. we love to have you here today.
It was great.
This is an awesome conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank
we could
you,
keep
thank
going for hours,
Yeah,
but I think that's enough. You
Yeah.
just
Perfect,
hit a
yeah.
lot of great points in this
Yeah.
industry. So much valuable information. We'll tag your group below and your Instagram and also
you.
your podcast. When does it come out? Give us a little couple months or something.
It should be within the month. I'll try to push it within the month.
Couple
Okay.
months.
A
So
month.
push
Yeah,
it within
couple
a month.
months,
We'll get
couple
the
months.
link.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll give you a link.
Hopefully
there.
by the time we release this, it's out. And we
Yes,
can have the
it's
link
perfect.
down
Yeah,
below.
yeah,
Yeah.
Check it out. You know, he's very well spoken. He knows a lot of what he's talking about, and he can give you some great advice. So,
Yeah.
Konstantinos, thank you so
Thank
much,
you for having
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was great, and have a great week.
and have a great weekend.
Great weekend.
Thank you.
All